discussing this month Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. This will be our last video for this particular book in our book club. We're covering chapter 5 and 6, all right? Trust and Divinity.
Yes.
On 207, we're going to jump right into the meat and potatoes of this section. On 207, she says, don't be afraid of reaching for your creative edge. Never back down from discomfort that can sometimes arise while you are working. That to me was profound because it's just, don't back down. Don't be afraid. Like I was telling Zim, sometimes I can get very afraid of my creativity, afraid of my ideas. What will people think? What if they laugh at me? What if I fail? What if everybody thinks like I'm a weirdo? But like she says here is, it's being afraid is part of the business. Don't back down from that creative edge. And I thought that was profound enough to share.
Yeah. But what I liked is on page 232, at the end there, she says, what you produce is not necessarily always sacred. I realize just because you think it's sacred. What is sacred is the time that you spend working on the project, and what that time does to expand your imagination, and what that expanded imagination does to transform your life. And I feel that goes all into our whole book club, this whole journey that we're on. What we're producing these videos is not as sacred as what we learned or what we've grown during this whole process. While we're reading these books, what we've learned, we've grown so much and we've come to be different people. Like, I think that we've grown, and it's just a journey is what's sacred. And then what we've learned and what we're putting out there and what's motivating us to do is what is transforming our lives. So it's the whole process that's sacred. These videos are awesome, but I think the process of us learning and growing is what I cherish the most.
I absolutely agree. The journey is so much better than the actual destination of getting there.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
On 238, the last paragraph, she says, see where curiosity will lead you next. Then follow the next clue, and the next, and the next. Remember, it doesn't have to be a voice in the desert. It's just a harmless little scavenger hunt. Following that scavenger hunt of curiosity can lead you to amazing, unexpected places. And then, eventually, it can lead you to your passion, albeit through a strange, untraceable passage of back alleys, undergrounds, caves, and secret doors. I like that because, to me, it's like Steve Jobs says, he always says, follow your passion no matter what. If you can't see how it goes, it doesn't matter. Keep following anyway, because looking back, he said over his life, he wasn't able to put all of the pieces together until the end. Well, I think that's what she's saying too, is find what you love to do and do it with all your passion, and just follow those passions, just because it can lead you to greater and greater things. And I think that is true. I think of this book channel that we're doing, Zim and I love to read books, Zim does too, and my nursing channel that I'm doing, and speaking, and kind of all, these are just all different passions that I'm pursuing. They all are kind of now, just looking back, I was telling Zim earlier, they're all starting to, I can see starting to intertwine now, and I can see that happening. So what are yours? Are you following your passions? Where are they? Are you following little voices like Zim with her camera thing? She's doing this whole camera thing because she's been passionate about photography. So she's going to start following that. It's just a little voice that she's starting to follow now. So what are your passions? And are you following it? Have you found out how it's able to interweave in your life? I don't know. Tell us.
Yeah, let us know. We would love to hear. On 247. And the section that's interesting, it talks about, and maybe it's like that with every important aspect of your life. Whatever it is you are pursuing, whatever it is you are seeking, whatever it is you are creating, be careful not to quit too soon. Don't rush through the experiences and circumstances that have the most capacity to transform you. Don't let go of your courage the moment things stop being easy or rewarding. We kind of felt like that towards this book club had fun. We were doing it. We were putting out these videos, and all of a sudden we're like, hey, why aren't we getting any hits? What are we doing wrong? Is it not interesting? And I mean, it was discouraging. But then we realized, I mean, after watching videos and how much we actually enjoy doing this, that no matter what the outcome is, we're not going to quit. We're going to keep doing it because we love it and we enjoy it. And I mean, it's something that is creative that we've committed to and we've decided to have a contract with. So we're just going to keep doing it. Don't let it discourage you. Don't quit too soon, because we don't want to add this to that endless, bottomless pit. So we're just going to keep doing it.
I couldn't have summarized it better.
Trust. So on the next part here on 249, it talks about the ego. Did you want to touch about that on 249?
Oh, okay. So on page 249, the second paragraph, she says, "But do not let your ego totally run the show, or it will shut the show down. Your ego is a wonderful servant, but it's a terrible master, because the only thing your ego ever wants is reward, 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 and more reward. And since there's never enough reward to satisfy your ego will always be disappointed. Left unmanaged, that kind of disappointment will rot you from the inside out." I think this is true. It's just, ego to me, I think is something that no matter who you are, whether you're at the bottom of the chain or at the top and you're just a total winner, ego can affect us all. Superstars get their egos hurt. Zim and I get our egos hurt. I was just telling her at work the other day, I didn't get voted the most compassionate. And I was really upset because I thought I was the most compassionate. And this bothered me. For night shift, we work nights now. It's like at night shift, I'm the most compassionate. And I didn't even get named in I didn't even get mentioned in the thing. And I was holding it and I was really upset. But this is my ego. And even like these videos, if a troll were to say something bad, it's like, go make your own videos then. But it's just, you can't let your ego get the best of you, because it's like wearing, how I took it, it's like wearing your heart on the sleeve. Do it for you. I was telling Zim today that I was reading on Instagram, one of these girls that I follow, she says, what I make sure is the person that is most consistent with me is myself. And it's important that I believe in myself and what I think about myself first versus what everybody else around me thinks, because they're inconsistent. And I think this is true. So as long as you believe in you and believe in what you're doing as far as that, try to be persistent and transparent and not let your ego get to you, especially regarding what other people may think, because you don't want to be somebody that transforms what everybody thinks. On page 259, she says, what else are you going to do? Like, if you don't work on creativity, what are you going to do anyway? Stuff that is not interesting, not follow your love for curiosity. If you want to stop, then stop. But it's like, do you want to live that mundane life? Do you want to just live that boring, day-to-day, predictable life? Or do you want to take risks and be curious and see what else is out there and live for your passion? If not, live a passionate life. And I think that says a lot, because what is the alternative to not following your passion? And that is exactly it. It's the routine, predictable life that everybody doesn't want, but it seems like most of the people get.
So on 263, about your creative work, just never apologize for it. Never explain it away. Never be ashamed of it. You did your best with what you knew, and you worked with what you had in the time that you were given. You were invited, and you showed up, and you simply cannot do more than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, give it your all. Do what you do to the best of your ability, and just show up. Just come up and just put it out there. You had what you can only do so much with what you have. So work with it, and then show up. Put it out there.
So you got, do it. That summarizes trust. That is section 5, right? And now we're gonna move on to Divinity, our last section of Bit Magic. This was an amazing book.
Divinity ends it, but I kind of confused about what it is. She basically just talks about a story in Bali about how these dancers at a temple would do these sacred dances, and they have the tourists will come to these temples and watch them dance, but then it was too small, or it would be overcrowded, or something, that they couldn't do the dances at the temple anymore. So the priest decides, hey, let's just move these dances to them, take it to the tourists. So they started performing these at the hotels. But the Westerners, the tourists, were like, wait, these are holy sacred dances, you shouldn't be performing it here. So the priest was like, okay, well, let's make new dances. So they came up with new dances, and everybody was pretty much happy, supposedly, where the tourists got to see the dance, and then the dancers got to dance and, make money from the donations. So supposedly they were all happy, but then these new dances were better than the sacred dances. So they're like, well, let's get these new dances and incorporate to our sacred dances. So they brought it back, and then it was just like a big confusion to the Westerners, like, okay, what is sacred, what is holy, what is new? But in the end, they just kind of just used the new dances at the temple, and don't really know what the moral of the story is. I was kind of confused. It's like, I guess, use innovation, change it up. You can always, use change. Doesn't always have to stick to the old ways.
That's
And
a good point.
That pretty much just ends the book there. So, done. Big Magic. We finished our first book.
In conclusion, basically, live a creative life, listen to those little voices, pursue passions, take your risks, don't let fear get in your way, learn to live with fear, work on being brave, trust that you have the ability, show up to the party, and pursue and persist. Thanks, guys, for joining us, inviting us, and staying with us throughout this book. We enjoyed your company. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Our next book will be Ben Carson, Think Big. Peace out.
You've grown a lot.